up, we've got Boise State against Utah State. We've got Boise State here currently in this one, 9-point road favorite, 64 the total. If you watched this show last Monday, you should know already what side I'm on in this game. It's the undefeated ATS Warriors that are Utah State. And of course, Blake Anderson, the head coach, brought in from Arkansas State, brought his quarterback, Logan Bonner, with him. And actually, that Andrew Peasley guy, they've been actually using both of their quarterbacks. He's played well for Utah State as well. And what a game last week. They definitely had their problems stopping that triple option against Air Force. Air Force had a lot of success running the football and executing that triple option, but their offense just answered every single time, picked apart that secondary, which I said, service academy teams don't have good secondaries. They can't stop the pass that well, and they could not do that against Utah State. They kept coming back, and as 9-point underdogs, they win outright against Air Force last week. I know a lot of us liked it. Conor, DJ Big Boss called it. I think Big Ragu liked it. I think Grant liked it. I've certainly liked it. And Utah State got the job done. I'm on them again here. This is a team that, and there's a list of teams that are either 0-3 or 0-4 against the spread. And there's teams that are either 4-0, like Fresno State against the spread, and other teams that are 3-0 against the spread. And Utah State's one of those 3-0 ATS teams. And their ATS margin, cover margin, is like almost 20 points. So the betting on average. So the betting markets are way off on Utah State because they were lousy last year. They had a very bad team, terrible defense, bad offense, bad coach. Gary Anderson was a terrible hire. Why did they bring him back? I mean, he's a guy that didn't do well at Wisconsin, didn't do well at Oregon State, and we're going to bring him back now to Utah State, and it was a disaster. Now you got a guy that knows what he's doing, Blake Anderson from Arkansas State. He was always good teams at Arkansas State when he was there. The defense is still a work in progress, and it's going to be a challenge. You got a good Boise team, but Boise's offense has not been hitting on all cylinders. Central Florida, second half of that game, they didn't do anything on offense. The UTEP game, yeah, you're playing UTEP. No wonder you're going to put up points. And then last week against Oklahoma State, that offense with Hank Bachmeier, it got shut down in the second half. They didn't do anything. And look, Utah State's a much weaker defense than Oklahoma State. I'm not going to even try to compare the two. But you got to win this game by double digits on the road, coming off a very disappointing loss to Oklahoma State. I don't even think it's the greatest of spots for Boise either, going on the road. And the back door is always wide open with a team that's got the quarterback play and the offense that Utah State has right now. So this is an undervalued team. It's been undervalued from the beginning. That's why they're 3-0 ATS to begin the year. And I like them again here. I'm on the points with the home underdog, Utah State. What do you like here, Conor Mack? Anything early in the week?
Yeah, like even you said, when Air Force was up 24-13, I'm like, or it was 27-13 maybe even. I'm like, they're fine. And they came back, took the lead, like 35-30, 27. They scored like 3 straight touchdowns. They're in this one. Boise in the last few years hasn't been good on the road. And what happened to them in the second half? That was horrible. Oklahoma State's not very good either, I don't think. There's only way to play this. It's already gone down. Catch it now. There's still some 9.5s and 9. I know the game's early. Someone mentioned in the chat. I still lean over. I think Boise will be able to score pretty easily. I think this game should be in the 30s. Obviously, the last one with Air Force, 49-45, and their defense still needs some work, but they'll be able to score. So I lean over, and I definitely lean the points with the home dog here. Almost a double-digit dog, like I talked about. Take them. Even though the defense is bad, I usually don't love that, but they can sling it. So take the points.
Yeah, the one issue is Boise is 4-0 straight up and against the spread, head-to-head against Utah State the last 4 years, but a lot of really good Boise teams and a lot of really bad Utah State teams. This is a different Utah State group right now, and I know it was 42-13 last year, but it's not going to be that way this year.
They were good, 3 years ago with Jordan Love? They had that one good year. They went, 9-2 or whatever. So, had a few bad years there, and then, bouncing back.
Yeah. Grant, what's your thoughts here with Boise and Utah State?
Yeah, man. I had so much fucking fun watching that Utah State game. I had them points and money line. We talked a lot about on the show. We all liked them. I was with 2 buddies that were a little skeptical to get on the money line with me. They did. We were having a couple pints during the game. The 27-13, I think they were down at some point. We still had the faith. And Man, the one thing I really liked about Utah State was, and I talk about this shit a lot, take what you want with it, but man, I love the bench energy. I love the coach. Coach Anderson comes over. Bonner gets hurt. Peasley comes in, dude. Peasley made some
Yep.
clutch fucking plays. Running the ball. He's a big kid. He's got a fucking good arm, too. And the thing that I took away from that game was, I think it was after the 72, 73-yard pass from Peasley. Huge touchdown. And he comes to the bench, and Bonner's on the bench. And Bonner gives him a knuckles, and they're just laughing, smiling, like they were teammates. It wasn't that I don't want you to succeed. I want both of us to succeed. So that energy,
we're both pulling for the
Utah,
team, right? I love that.
Yeah, and in a comeback, you're on the road, you know, us against the world mentality, and they find a way to get a hell of a victory. Their defense, as we talked about, they struggled with that option a little bit. I thought they were actually a little bit better than the stats. They had quite a few bad third down big plays that they gave up. They were close. They stop them twice. They have a 3rd and long, a 3rd and 7, and then Air Force would make a fucking big time play. That happened 3 or 4 times in the game. So something to be aware of. I don't think Utah State's defense is good by any means, but I don't think they may not be as bad as the score. You know, Air Force putting up those numbers. As for Boise, I said it earlier, week 1. I like the Avalos coach, but I only liked him really based on the interviews he had and what I had heard from the program. This is a huge game for them as Boise State. You know, they're laying 9.5. That scares me. I think this Hank Bachmeier kid, he almost reminds me of a Kirk Cousins, where he's good, he can make plays, but, you know, he's not unbelievable. He can still make plays. He's going to make some mistakes. As we talked about, Oklahoma State, how good are they? We are all kind of skeptical on how good they are. And they go into the Smurf turf and beat Boise State. So let's roll with the Aggies, man. Let's keep it rolling. A home dog at 9.5. I'll throw my money there and see where we're at. And I talked about it with the QBs. I don't like how there's 2 QBs on most teams, but like I said, the energy and emotion shown by Bonner and Peasley together, I loved, and they both can play football. So let's roll with the Aggies.
And I agree with Conor. Conor mentioned the over too. I think it will get there as well, 63.5, 64. I haven't bet that one yet. We'll see where the total goes, but it should be high scoring. Boise can't run the football right now. Their run game's been non-existent. Most of their offense has come through Bachmeier in the passing game. And you're right about Andrew Peasley. He played well in that game last week, you know, when Bonner wasn't in there. And he played a little bit last year under the old coach, Gary Anderson, and he showed some glimpses toward the end of the year for Utah State that might be able to play a little bit, get a better coach in there, maybe a better offense, and maybe you're going to be able to see what he can do. And I thought he played well for Utah State there.